The very first time I sat underwater, I breathed in. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, and my life changed overnight. That was about 12 years ago now. Since then, I've basically dived ever since. Now, I've not stopped diving. I now have about 5,000 dives on 4 continents around the world. Everything from volcanoes to caves, English shipwrecks to tropical waters, all sorts of things. You can do a dive and you will literally see over 3 to 4 million animals on a single dive, if you only knew what you're looking at. For example, this sea fan here, this common sea fan, it's a member of the Gorgonian family and is a colony of animals. This fan alone will contain over 1 million animals. Yeah? So that's one fan, there's 2 fans. This coral down here, another few thousand animals. Yeah, another coral branch up here, hundreds of animals. Inside this is actually believe it or not, it's a brain coral. Called so because it looks like a brain. Along these ridges are hundreds of thousands of tiny little animals called coral polyps. The next picture you're going to see is actually the coral animal that's actually out at night feeding.
No one comes out at night?
Yeah. They spend 80% of their food comes from the algae that lives with them. Yeah, 20% of the rest of the food they actually get by coming out eating planktonic particles at night. So when you're underwater, the actual sheer abundance of animal life that we swim past, a lot of people don't actually appreciate, it is colossal, it is vast. There is nothing like it on Earth and on land that you can even compare to the underwater world. It's one of the reasons why the underwater world is so fascinating to many people.
Utilians are some of the most, we are the most, what you say, relaxed, laid back, you know, people that there is. I mean, it also relaxes, you know, the tourists that come here. You know, the minute they land, you know, here on the island, and they come down Main Street, or they reach to their resort property, you know, they just lay back. Instantly, you know, you can take your watch off and just, you know, enjoy the Utilian atmosphere. Yeah, I think my family has been here just a little over 100 years, and I come from a generation of captains. You know, my father was a captain, his father was. You know, and the same thing with me. We now have 20 years in the dive business, and you know, from when we started until today, I mean, you could notice, especially, you know, our divers that have been coming around for, you know, 10 or so years or more, you know, you could notice, and we've noticed too, you know, that there's like a fish or marine life on the reefs.
The quality fish, that the export fish then is less than that. The export fish. Okay, now the export fish is from 2 pounds out. You see all them fish I just sold now? They can't pass, they're not big enough. There has to be from 2 pounds out. There's been a decrease in the export fish. All the other fish is still holding as the way it is.
Why do you think there's been a decrease in the exports?
Well, it's because, okay, just like what I tell you, years ago we only sold fish January, February, March, and April. Today is 365 days a year. Maybe we're selling 10,000 pounds in 3 months. Now we're selling 100,000 pounds or probably 200,000 pounds for the full year. And you're talking about them days, it was 10 doors working. Right now you got 75 doors. Every home on this ski got 1 to 2 fishing doors. That's the difference.
fishing around here is getting, you know, really, really hard, you know. So somehow or the other, we need to make these guys get more involved into other work, you know, and so that they can survive along with us. You know, working closely, you know, with the fishermen or the fishing community, I think is something that not only, you know, the people that's in the resort or dive, you know, businesses have to do, but, you know, everybody has to do on the island.
You were saying about these lobster houses. Why don't you make a project with school kids? Get your sons in class and class. School is starting much.
Do you guys have much communication with the dive shops or the divers?
No, we don't have no communications with them at all. But they want to dive on the other side of the island, but like far from here to the island or probably close to end. They do come around our water. They do come around with party fishes. But like I tell you now, my fishing banks is far away from here. I want to go close this time of year. I went to my little boy. I was trying to breaking him and learning him how to fish and showing him that what we got to do. That's why I carried him to the beach.
Do you have a 5 spot? I'll put it up.
Sí, sería bueno si se llegara a la unión porque se trabaja mejor unido que separado. Sería mejor. Pero pienso que se puede llegar a lograr.
¿Cómo afecta su persona o su vida?
Pues de eso no sabemos nosotros, ¿verdad? Profundamente, ¿no? Pero lo que sí sabemos de que por medio de eso viene dinero acá a la isla, ¿verdad? Porque bastante gente viene a pagar por sus cursillos de museo y todo eso ayuda para que la isla prospere.
If you have a little shop, you don't really think that the reefs are affecting you. But who's buying the things in your shop? People that are coming to visit and people that are supplying services to people that come to visit. So making that link so obvious is crucial.
¿Y cuáles son clientes mayores?
Mis clientes mayores, turistas.
¿Lo establecieron esto, verdad?
Hace como no sé qué año, pero hace como unos 10 años.
10 años.
Sí.
¿En todo ese tiempo han tenido éxito?
Sí, gracias a Dios sí, porque mi esposo es mayor de edad ahora y casi lo que tengo, lo que le he dado a mis hijos, educación y todo eso, es por el negocio. Va a ir a la escuela a empezar ya.
¿Cómo se llama?
Yo escuché ahora que Vika va a entrar un poco más a dar charlas en la escuela a los niños de la naturaleza que hay en la isla y todo eso, para que los niños ya vayan creciendo con esa mentalidad.
Ocean Day, we had an art exhibition. So kids sat around the table and they painted different scenes, how they see corals, different scenes from the island. And we had an exhibition and we got the 3 first prizes, and local people gave prizes. So some of them gave T-shirts, some of them, one person bought 2 of these paintings and paid 500 lempiras for each. So kids got the idea that art also pays. You don't have to work as a carpenter, you can be an artist and still make a living. And kids will also tell you about issues. And one of the issues that I learned is how much theory they know and how little they know how to put theory in practice. They do not link what they learned about environment and how that should be put in practice and how should they change their behavior based on what they learned.
He started to bite like a brown fish. Yeah, now he was blind.
¿Cuáles son sus esperanzas para el futuro de la isla?
Verla mejor, que crezca ver todo súper mejor.
Pues que va a ser más grande, más bonito, vamos a tener donde pasear más, ¿verdad? Así es. Y siempre va las esperanzas de uno no son, como decir, estar trabajando ajeno todo el tiempo, sino que pues tener un negocito, algo propio, ¿verdad? Son las esperanzas.
Everybody has to live, and we understand that well. It's just that we have to find a formula for us to live together. If we all can't see through the same lens, it's not going to work. Or both of us are going to end up crying. Both of us are going to end up crying, you know.
But the environment became a bad word. You know, people use it like a big word with a capital E. I don't even call it environment anymore. It's nature. It's our world. And this is it's a kind of environmental philosophy that I have a lot of my colleagues disagreeing with. They would like to have a large parks and put a big fence around that, and parks are preserved, nobody should touch it. For whom? For whom to preserve that? Unless people are involved and people realize that they are part of that, they are part of a planning of conservation, and they're part of results from that conservation, nothing will happen.
I can take that ocean for my home. I love that ocean.